Megan Huntsman, a quiet Utah mother, gave birth in secret, alone in her bathroom, then hid the truth in taped boxes stacked in her garage. On April 12, 2014, her estranged husband opened one of those boxes and phoned 911.
My name's Darren West. I just found something in my garage. I think it's a miscarriage.
6 murdered, 1 believed stillborn. No hospital records, no baby showers, 10 years of silence. How did a neighborhood miss 7 pregnancies? Why were 3 children raised inside that home while 6 newborns were suffocated and sealed away? Addiction? Despair? Or something darker? Stay with me, because the moment those boxes were opened, the lies began to uncover. Why did no one know? Why didn't anyone ask? And what makes a mother kill the very lives she brings into this world? From the outside, Megan Huntsman looked like countless other ordinary mothers in Pleasant Grove, Utah. She tended her small yard, waved politely to neighbors, and drove the same quiet streets year after year. No police calls, no loud arguments, no visible chaos. But behind the garage door of her modest home, a different reality waited, one sealed inside cardboard boxes. Over a decade, Megan carried 7 pregnancies to term without telling a soul. No doctor's visits, no baby showers, no announcements. Just the slow swelling under loose clothing, and then nothing. Her weight would drop, she'd smile faintly. Life seemed to go on. Friends assumed she was tired. Relatives thought she was dealing with stress. No one asked. Inside her bathroom, always alone, Megan brought life into the world and then ended it. She wrapped each tiny body in cloth, placed it in a bag, and taped the box shut. Then she stacked it alongside the others, as if it were just another box of storage. And for 10 years those boxes sat in the shadows, until one man decided to open them. Megan Huntsman met Darren West in high school, a teenage romance that turned into marriage and 3 daughters. To neighbors, they were a typical family, living in the same Pleasant Grove home for years. But behind the front door, the marriage was untangling. Darren battled a methadone addiction. Megan hid one of her own. Arguments handled quietly, never loud enough for the neighbors to notice. Friends saw her as polite, reserved, maybe tired, but nothing alarming. Inside her bathroom, always alone, Megan brought life into the world and then ended it. She wrapped each tiny body in cloth, placed it in a bag, and taped the box shut. Then, she stacked it alongside the others, as if it were just another box of storage. And for 10 years, those boxes sat in the shadows, until one man decided to open them. It was a Saturday morning in April 2014, when Darren West began cleaning the garage. He hadn't lived in the house for years and was trying to clear space. In the back corner, stacked neatly, were several medium-sized boxes, sealed tight with packing tape. They looked ordinary, like storage for holiday decorations, but one box felt wrong, too heavy for its size, and there was an odor, faint but unnatural. He slit the tape with a knife and pulled back the flaps. Inside was a small white bundle, wrapped in cloth. As he unwrapped it, the shape became unmistakable. Tiny hands, tiny feet, motionless. Panic surged. He dropped the bundle, grabbed his phone, and called 911. His voice trembled as he told dispatch what he had found. When police arrived, they opened the rest of the boxes. One after another, the same grim discovery. 7 in total. 6 fully developed infants. The air in the garage turned cold, heavy.
She said it was his.
And I just said, what the hell is this? What have you done? I always found something. She goes, oh, you did?
She said, get the police, don't call the police, I'll come get it.
So she said it was yours. Logically, is that true?
I don't know, man. I never knew.
Let's start off with, is it your wife?
At first, she claimed she didn't know. The boxes, she said, had been there for years, maybe even from before they moved in. But the questions became sharper. Dates, medical history, witness accounts. And slowly her voice changed. She admitted each baby was hers.
Describe to me what happened.
Well, I was having a lot of pain that day. I didn't go to work. My kids were at school. I went in the bathroom and just sat there and just pushed really hard. And I was blue and wasn't crying. And I was by myself and I didn't know what to do. And I couldn't get it to cry or anything.
Then what happened?
I got scared and I wrapped it up. Not being smart and calling you guys, I was in shock. It was stupid of me to do it.
What do you mean when you say you wrapped it up?
But the question that haunted everyone, the one she never truly answered, was why no one, for 10 years, never noticed. Detectives searched the Huntsman home from garret to basement, but it was the garage that told the full story. 7 boxes, similar in size, lined the back wall. Each one was carefully taped and labeled only with random markings or nothing at all. Inside, the remains were consistent. Newborn infants, each wrapped in cloth, sealed inside plastic bags, and then placed into the box. The wrapping varied, some in old towels, others in baby blankets, but the method never changed. It was deliberate, calculated, and eerily consistent. The medical examiner determined 6 had been born alive and died by suffocation or strangulation. 1 was stillborn. The births spanned roughly a decade, from 1996 to 2006. Even more disturbing, during that same period, Megan was raising 3 healthy daughters under the same roof. She maintained a household, attended school events, and smiled in family photos while keeping the boxes just steps away. The evidence answered what had happened, but not why an entire community never noticed 7 missing pregnancies. Megan Huntsman never went to trial. In 2015, she pled guilty to 6 counts of murder. Each count carried a potential life sentence. During sentencing, the courtroom was silent except for the prosecutor's words and the occasional suppressed cry. Family members of Darren West sat in shock, still trying to reconcile the smiling woman they once knew with the calculated killer described by investigators. Megan spoke briefly, apologizing without shedding a tear. She admitted she didn't want the babies, claiming addiction had consumed her life. But to many listening, it was hard to see her as anything but cold and deliberate. The judge sentenced her to 6 terms of 5 years to life, to be served consecutively. That meant she would not be eligible for parole until at least 2064, when she would be nearly 90 years old. As she was led away, she glanced once toward the gallery, then lowered her eyes. And when the cell door closed, Pleasant Grove was left to wrestle with the question, how could something so monstrous hide in plain sight?
The babies were never named, never kissed goodnight, never photographed, never held. 7 infants, each with a heartbeat, each with a future that never began. Megan Huntsman's story isn't just about addiction or secrecy. It's about the silence that lets horror grow in the shadows. For 10 years, no one asked, no one saw, no one stopped her. And now, a row of boxes in a courtroom is all that remains. The house has new owners. The garage is clean. But in Utah, people still whisper about the mother with the sealed boxes and the babies that no one knew were missing. If you want more true crime stories that stay with you long after the screen goes dark, subscribe and join us for the next case. Because some stories need to be told, even when they're hard to hear.